Okay, so Gemara Tractate Sotah, the first chapter, the name of the chapter is on Mekane. So we speak about the different, the different outcome or ramifications that happens to the Sotah after drinking the water. We'll call it the side effects or the direct effects that happens to the Sotah. So the Gemara says, one of the things that her face becomes sallow. She made up her eyes for him. The fikach bolters, therefore her eyes bulge. She braided her hair for him. Fikach kohen soiter, therefore a kohen unbraids her hair. She motioned with a finger to him, for him to come. Therefore her fingernails fall off. She girded herself for him with a belt. Therefore a kohen brings a rope made of palm fibers, and he ties it above her bosom. She stretched out her thigh for him. Therefore her thigh collapses. She accepted him upon her stomach. Therefore her stomach distends. She fed him delicacies of the world. Therefore her sacrifice is barley and animal food. She gave him fine wine to drink in fine vessels. Therefore a kohen gives her bitter waters to drink in an earthenware fire pot. She acted in seclusion. The one who sits in seclusion on high turns his attention to her. As stated, the adulterous eye awaits the night, saying, no eye will see me. Another point, she acted in seclusion. The omnipresent publicized it openly. One who covers something hated by God, by darkness, will have his evil revealed in a congregation. So it would be shaming. Having finished its citation on the Baisa, the Gemara now analyzes the Baisa's three sources pertaining to divine punishment. Now, since the Baisa derives it from adding one to another to find the amount. Why do I need other verse? For every measure is measured with noise. Lechemido, for the type of measure. Once the Brisa derives it from every measure is measured with noise. Why do I need with a precise measure? You shall contend with her when you send her away. Rav Chineno bar Papa said, "Enakash Baruch nifra minoma ad she'as shilucho." The Holy One, blessed be He, or blessed is He, does not punish a nation until it's time to be sent away. What does that mean? To be completely destroyed. The time for it to be completely destroyed has arrived. Shenema besaso beshalcho v'geimer. As it is stated, with a precise measure when you send her away, etc. The Gemara objects to this exposition. The Gemara says, "Eini, this is really so." V'amarava shloisho koizus amuzim mitzrayim. The three cups stated regarding Egypt. What are the three cups? One that is drunk. One that it drank during the days of Moshe. one that it drank during the days of Paroi Nechoi, one that it will drink in the future with its fellows. So what are these cups? It says Paro's royal butler is describing his dream to Yosef. That's one cup. Then we have in 18, it says the Egyptians were punished during the Exodus when the Israelites left. And then the last one, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylonia, defeated Egypt. Paro Neko, as recorded in Jeremiah chapter 46. So those three cups stated regarding Egypt. One that is drank during the days of Moshe, one that it drank during the days of Paro Neko, one it will drink in the future with its fellows. We see that Egypt was not completely destroyed by its first punishment. And if you say that those first Egyptians were in fact completely destroyed, and those later Egyptians were in fact people of other nationalities who afterwards settled in Mitzrayim. Tanya Rabbi Yehuda said, Minyamin, an Egyptian convert, was a colleague of mine from among the students of Rabbi Akiva. Omar Minyamin Gera Mitzri. Minyamin, this Egyptian convert, said, Ani Mitzri Rishon v'nosasi Mitzri Rishon. I'm a first generation Egyptian convert, and I married a first generation Egyptian convert. I will marry my son to a second generation Egyptian, the daughter of Egyptian converts, so that my son's son shall be fit to enter the congregation. We see that in the times of the Tanoim, the original Egyptians still lived in Egypt, so they were not destroyed in one shot. Amar Bar Papa said, the Holy One, blessed is He, does not punish a king until his time to be sent away has arrived. As is stated, with a precise measure you shall contend with her when you send her away. The Gemara cites another biblical source for this Amar statement. What is the meaning of the verse? Ani avai, pasuk in Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. Verse 6. So it says, for I Hashem have not changed, and you, the sons of Yaakov, you have not perished. What is the meaning of it? Ani avai lo shaniti. The first phrase is interpreted, I Hashem have not repeated, meaning that lo yikisu lo v'shanislo, I did not strike a nation and then strike it again. Atem ben Yaakov lo yichilisem, and when the verse concludes, and you, the sons of Yaakov, you have not perished, it refers to Ainu dichtiv chitzai achale bo chitzai kol ve'anan kolim. For it is written, my arrows I shall finish against them. My arrows will be finished. Ve'hein einon kolin, but they will not be finished. Meaning that is God's punishment of the nation of Israel will end without destroying the nation. The literal translation of the verse can also be understood this way: just as God does not change, so too the existence of the Jews will not be changed. That's the interpretation of Meiri, one of the commentators on the Talmud. Rav Menashe said, the Holy One, blessed is He, does not punish a person until his measure is filled. As it is stated, after his desire has been filled, misfortune will strike him. That's from Eov 20:22. What is the meaning? Pasuk in Tilim 33a. Sing joyfully, O righteous, because of Hashem, for the upright praise is fitting. Al tikrin novesilo, do not read it, praise is fitting. Ela nevesilo, but rather a palace of praise. Ze Moshe v'David, this refers to Moshe and David. Shelo yisholtu sanei ma'aseim, for the enemies did not gain control of their handiwork. David yichtiv tovos she'oreo, we know that David, it says about King David, its gates sunk in the earth, which means the context of this verse refers to the city that David built for himself. Its gates made of precious metals sunk into the ground so that the enemies could not carry them away and use them, and the enemies had no interest in the wooden objects. Alternatively, this refers to the gates of the temple. Although David did not actually build the temple, his son Shlomo did. He prepared the gold and silver for its construction and purchased the city. Its gates, in particular, are associated with David. Our Gemara is therefore justified in stating that the temple gates were saved in tribute to David. We learned somewhere else in the Gemara that the gates were opened for the sake of David.
Right.
Anyhow, over here they were protected. Moshe the Omar. Good morning to everyone. Good morning. Moshe the Omar, for he, the master, said, Mishenivno Mikdash Rishon, when the first temple was built, Nignas Oilmoy, the tent of meeting, was hidden. Krosov, its beams, its hooks, Uvrichov, Amudov, its bars, its pillars, Vadonov, and its sockets. So the tent of meeting was hidden, everything included. Heicho, where is the tabernacle hidden? Under the tunnels of the temple sanctuary. Now going back to the Sotah punishment, to this adulterous woman, or suspected adulteress. The Sotah set her eyes upon one who is not fit for her. What she sought was not given to her. And what was in her hand they took from her. For anyone who sets his eyes upon something that is not his, what he seeks they do not give him, and what is in his hand they take from him. So meaning he comes out bold from both sides. If you're looking at things that don't belong to you, that are not for you, then you can lose also the things that belong to you. We find this concept in 9b1 with the primordial serpent. He looked at Eve. He wanted Eve. So he wanted something that was not fit for him. What he sought to have, they did not give to him. And what was in its hand, they took from him. The serpent lost its upright stature. Although the serpent lost other qualities with which it was created, the Gemara proceeds to explain the change from an upright creature with hands and feet to one which must slither on the ground is the most striking. I guess that's the biggest punishment the snake received, that he lost his hands and feet. Hashem thought to make the serpent the king of animals. And now he's more cursed than all the animals and all the beasts of the field. I thought that he should walk upright. Now he has to walk upon its belly. I thought he should eat the same as human food. Now Now he's eating dust. The serpent said, I will kill Adam and marry Eve. Now I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. Regarding Korach, Cain, Korach, Bilam, Doeg, Achitofel, Gechaz, Avshalom, Adoniyahu, Uziyahu, and Haman. All these people I just read wanted something that was not fit for them, and they ended up losing what was also fit for them. They set their eyes upon something not fit for them. What they sought to have, they did not receive, and what they already had, or was fit for them, they lost. Going back to the Sotah, she started her dance, she started her seduction dance with her belly, or with her thigh. And that's the first thing that is struck by the bitter water. How do we know it? Pasuk says, if you say, because it is written, when Hashem makes your thigh collapse and your stomach distend, but it is also written regarding the actual punishment. Her stomach will distend and her thigh will collapse. This pasuk mentions the punishment of the stomach before that of the thigh. When the Kohen administers the curse, he curses the thigh first. Ve'adar beten loit, and when he curses the stomach, and then he curses the stomach. So the curses started from the thigh. Umaya ki bodke, and when the water tests, ki ochaya bodke, they test in their normal manner. Betem reishadar, they first reach to the stomach, and then they're reaching the thigh. Also, by 1 second, in the curse the Kohen administered, it also written, these curse causing waters shall enter your innards to distend the stomach and collapse the thigh. Why is the stomach mentioned first in that part of the curse? That is, so the Kohen will inform her that the stomach will actually be stricken first and then the thigh. So that not to cast aspersions on the bitter waters when the punishment occurs to the stomach first. People shouldn't say it's a joke. Now we're going to learn about Shimshon Agibar.
This is a good story. I remember this.
Shimshon followed his eyes. The Plishtim punctured his eyes. The Plishtim got a hold of him and punctured his eyes. Gouged out his eyes. Avshalom was very proud. He took pride in his hair. He was hung with his hair. His hair was the cause of his death, really. Since he cohabited with 10 of his father's concubines, that's why his body was pierced 10 times. Therefore 10 lances were thrust into him. Stated the bearers of Yoav's armor circled him, and they struck Avshalom and killed him. Because he stole 3 thefts. Lev Ovi, Velev Bezdin, Velev Yisrael, the heart of his father, the heart of the court, and the heart of Israel. Shnema, Vayaganev Avshalom is Levan Yisrael. Avshalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. Therefore 3 lances were thrust into him. Shnema Vayikach Shlosha Shvatim Mechapav Vayiskem Velev Avshalom. It is stated he took 3 lances in his hand and thrust them into Avshalom's heart. Mishnah now explained that just as the principle of measure for measure applies in regard to punishment for wrongdoing, so too does it apply to rewarding good actions. That is, a person is rewarded for good deed in the manner corresponding to the manner in which the good deed was performed. So too with regard to the good. Miriam awaited Moshe 1 hour. She awaited her brother. It stated, and his sister stationed herself from afar. That's why the Jewish people waited for 7 days in the desert. Miriam, and the nation did not travel on until Miriam was brought in. Story goes that Miriam accompanied her brother into the Nile, and she waited to see what's going to happen. He was placed in a basket. She waited to see, and then she ultimately convinced Batya, the daughter of Pharaoh, to find a nursing woman for her, which was his mother actually came to nurse him. And then when she had leprosy in the desert, everyone, the entire Jewish people, waited for her. For it is stated, and the nation did not travel until Miriam was brought in. Yosef merited to bury his father, and none of his brothers was greater than Yosef. It is stated Yosef went up to bury his father, and up with him went both chariots and horsemen. Who was treated with as much honor as Yosef? Who buried Yosef? Moshe was attended to him. Moshe merited to attend to the bones of Yosef. And we saw God Meno, and there was none in Israel greater than him. Moshe stated, Moshe took the bones of Yosef with him. Moshe too was rewarded measure for measure, for who was treated with greater honor than Moshe? Who buried Moshe Rabbeinu Hashem? Because it says he buried him in the valley. It was not regarding Moshe alone that they said that but regarding to all the righteous as well. That is, God Himself attend to the righteous after their death. It is written that Hashem, your righteousness shall go before you, and the glory of Hashem shall gather you in. This is a pasuk in Isaiah 58:8. Tanu Rabban Shimshon be'einav morad. Shimshon rebelled against God with his eyes. Shenema ve'em Shimshon oviv. Shimshon says to his father, Kachli es. Kachli, oiso kachli. This woman I want. Ki eshoro ve'einai. Because she is fitting in my eyes. In my eyes she's fitting. So the Plishtim gouged out his eyes. Still, the Philistines seized him and gouged out his eyes. But is it so that Shimshon erred in marrying the woman from Timnaz? It is written, his father and mother did not know that it was from Hashem. When he went to select her, at least his motives were not completely pure, because he followed what was proper in his eyes. Shimshon's primary motive in marrying a Philistine woman was to find a pretext to fight the Philistines. At that time, the Philistines dominated the Jewish nation. The Jews did not have sufficient merit to fight them. It was therefore left to Shimshon to serve as a lone warrior against the Philistines. His plan was to live with the Philistines and find personal cause to attack them. This would not result in appraisals against the Jews. There would be no retaliation because they wouldn't know it's coming from the Jews. For the Philistines would view his acts as those of disenfranchised French madmen. So they figured as something as an outsider, as a crazy guy that is harming them. He's doing everything on his own. So Rabbi Shimon Eimer Tchilas Kilkuli Baz, the beginning of his downfall was in Gaza. Fikach Lokabaz, and therefore he smitten in Gaza. Tchilas Kilkul Baz, what happened in Gaza? Shimshon travels to Gaza and he says, and he saw a harlot there. The Fikach Lokabaz, he therefore smitten in Gaza. So it is written, they brought him down to Gaza and they bound him in copper fetters. It is written, before this, Shimshon went to Timnah. Why was he not punished in Timnah measure for measure? So the Gemara says, the beginning of his downfall, at least, was in Gaza. The Gemara discusses the third and last Philistine woman with whom Shimshon was involved. It happened after this that he loved a woman from Nachal Sorek. Her name was Delilah. Tanyo Rabbi Delilo. If her name was not been Delilah, it would have been fitting for her to be called Delilah, because the Hebrew word Delilah connotes severing, dildul. Dildelo eskoicho, for Delilah severed Shimshon's strength. Dildelos libo, she severed his heart. Dildelos maisav, she severed his action. Dildelos koicho, she severed his strength. It is written, his strength departed from him. Dildelos libo, she severed his heart. Delilah saw that he told her that was in his heart. Dildelos maisav, she severed his action. The istalik shchino minei, for the divine presence departed from him. As it is written, he did not even know that Hashem had departed from him. Delilah saw that he had told her all that was in his heart. Menayod. How did she know that he told her all that was on his heart? First of all, true words are recognizable. The truth rings with sincerity because it explains here 2:4 inexplicable observations. When Delilah heard that Shimshon was a Nazir, she now understood why his hair was so long and why he never drank wine. She therefore believed that his latest explanation about the source of his great strength was true. That's the interpretation of Rashi. Abaye Omar Yodoboy said Tzadik Lemapik Shem Levatolo. She knew about the righteous one, Shimshon, that he would not utter the name of heaven in vain. As soon as he said, I am a Nazir to God, she said to herself, now he is certainly telling the truth. It was after she tormented him with her words every day and pressed him, he became exasperated to death.
She was a nag.
Yeah. Indeed, she was a nag. The Gemara says, "Ma'avatal say, what does the verse mean that she pressed him? What could Delilah do to cause Shimshon distress? At the time of the culmination of cohabitation, she would slip away from beneath him."
And she was a big tease, okay? Saying it the way it is.
Shimshon was concerned that she was causing his seed to be wasted. Okay, so the Gemara says, the Gemara digresses briefly to discuss the verse in which Shimshon's mother, Slophanis, that's the name of Shimshon's mother, Slophanis, was instructed to the particulars of Shimshon's nirus. And now be careful and do not drink wine or aged wine, and do not eat anything contaminated. That was the instructions to the mother. Angel appeared to the barren Slophanis and informed her that she should bear a son, Shimshon. In the pasuk, he instructs her how to act during the pregnancy because her son would be a nazir. My call Tomei Vetu Adash Dvorim Tmeim Ka'achla. What does it mean that I shouldn't eat anything Tomei? Why she ate anything Tomei up to this point? That you need to warn her. We're dealing with a righteous woman. Amar Yitzchak Dever Dvorim Asurim Ben Nazir. No, he told her not to eat things that are prohibited to a nazir to eat. The Gemara discusses one of the miracles that occurred to Shimshon. God split open the hollow that was in the jawbone, and water came from it, and he drank. What's the story behind this jawbone? So it says in the book of Judges, this occurred after Shimshon had killed 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey. When the Philistine attempted to capture him after the Timnah's episode, after his victory, Shimshon became extremely thirsty, to the point where his life was actually in danger. He prayed for help, and God responded, causing water to flow miraculously from the jawbone. Water appeared in a hollow in the jaw where the tooth had been. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Devei Rabbi Ami, who evil edovatam. Shimshon desired a contaminated thing. He wanted to marry the daughter of an idolater. Although she had converted before the marriage, his parents nevertheless objected to it because, in his status as a Nazir, he should have not married a Philistine convert. Marsha explains this Gemara differently. Shimshon chose to kill the Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey rather than by hand. He was therefore made dependent upon it for his life. V'toch Ruach Havaya, the Gemara elaborates on the beginning of Shimshon's prophetic experience. The Spirit of Hashem began to resound in him in the camp of Dan between Tzorah and Eshtoel. We know that Shimshon was from the tribe of Dan. The prophecy of our forefather Yaakov was fulfilled. In the prophecy to his children, he said to Dan will be a serpent on the highway. The family of Machane Dan, to resound in him in the camp of Dan. Rabbi Yitzchak of the house of Rabbi Ami said, he teaches that the divine presence resounded with him like a bell to escort him wherever he went. It is written here to resound him in the camp of Dan. And it is written regarding the tunic of the Kohen Gadol, of the high priest, a bell and a pomegranate, just as the sound of the bell accompanied the Kohen Gadol wherever he walked. The divine presence has accompanied Shimshon. Between Tzor and Eshtoel, Amar v'yasi Tzor Eshtoel shneom g'dolim or Tzor and Eshtoel were two large mountains. V'akor and Shimshon tchonen ze v'zeh, yet Shimshon uprooted them and grounded them together. V'yochel Yishas Yisrael, the angel told Shimshon's mother, and he will begin to save Israel from the hand of the Philistines. So the pasuk mentioned Tzor and Eshtoel in this verse to teach that it was Shimshon attainment of spiritual perfection, the spirit of Hashem, that gave him the strength to perform the prodigies, feat of physical strength, to be able to do all these things. Amar Bichama bar Chanina, Bichama bar Chanina said, Bichama the son of Chanina said, Ruchal Shvos Avimelech L'chti Tishkel Li Ulanini Ulnichti. The oath of Avimelech, king of the Philistines, was desecrated, rendered null and void. For it is written that Avimelech made the following covenant with Avram: swear to me, here by God, that you will not deal falsely with me, or with my son, or with my grandsons. Since the Philistines were the first to violate the oath by subjugating the Jews, Shimshon was not bound by it either. Buchim Tiyu. God willing, tonight we'll have another video on Tanya.
Not tonight.
Oh, not tonight. Tonight is Shabbos.
Right.
Oh, it's this on Sunday, God willing. See you Sunday. Have a good Shabbos.
Early
Shabbos
morning.
Mevorchim. This Shabbos Mevorchim. Don't forget to say the Tilim.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the Moila, the birth of the moon. You have to say the bless the month. For the bless the month, we have to remember that the birth of the moon is going to be on Thursday night, 10 o'clock, 58 minutes and 12 seconds. So 10:58, 12 seconds. And that would be the month of Iyar, Aniash and Weifecho, Avram, Yitzchok, Rivko, the acronym for this month of healing. So Rosh Chodesh will be on Friday and Shabbos, next Friday and Shabbos. Abolin Retayva will come to us in good. It should be a month of healing. For Shalema to all those, we need for Shalema, and God willing, we'll see Mashiach. That's Hashem. Buchem to you.